Hey guys, in this video we are going to be answering the question, can you make designs for heat transfers with Canva? So Canva is a super popular design app used a lot in social media, but we want to know, can you design stuff for Supacolor, for dye sublimation, and even for HTV? So let's get on to Canva and see what designs we can make. So here I have Canva pulled up, and we do have a 30-day free trial of the Canva Pro going right now. So first up, I'm going to go to here to create a design, and we're going to make a custom size. So something super important to keep in mind when you want to make high quality artwork for dye sublimation or especially Supacolor, because that's going to require you to have a high resolution image. You want about 300 dots per inch DPI, or about 300 pixels per inch is another way to say that. So think about the size in inches of the design you want and then multiply that by 300 to get the number. So if I want an 8-inch by 11-inch design, I'm going to multiply those numbers by 300 and end up with 2400 pixels by 1100. No,
3300.
then I'm going to end up with 3300. All right, so that's just going to ensure that my design space that I have pulled up here, when I fill that up and download it, it will be at that 300 dots per inch for an 8x11 sized transfer. So this is a free pick. This is a website that I use a lot if I just need to find some quick little artwork or something to kind of go off of. It's super cool.
Yeah, super neat about that is that you can also type in free. So
Oh yes,
there's paid options also, but you can get a lot of cool designs for free.
Yes, let me pull that up here. I can click free, and vectors is another thing that I'm searching. So vectors are not the same as your regular JPEG where it's a bunch of pixels. A vector image is lines, and that can either be in an EPS format or an SVG format. So let's take a look here. I kind of like this design. This one looks really cool to me, so I'm going to download that. I think that'll be a good base to just a little example design here. So wherever you get your designs from, you might download them. Maybe there's somebody's website that you really like. They make cool designs, and you can download SVGs there. Let me pull up. So there we go, and it's downloaded as a JPEG and an EPS file. So something with Canva is that it accepts JPEGs, PNGs, and SVG files, but it doesn't sadly accept EPS files. So the EPS and SVG are the two different types of vectors. So sadly I can't use the vector, the EPS file in Canva, but there are some workarounds that I think we can work with. So I'll just bring in this. All right, let me just drag over this JPEG, just drag and drop that over, and it'll pull that up. All right, so this is the JPEG image. So this does have a white background baked into the image. So I think the difference between PNGs and JPEGs are PNG, it can have that free-floating transparent background, but it's still pixels. Whereas a JPEG also made up of pixels, but it's going to be completely baked in with that background. As you can see here, that white space, I just put a random background on, and this white space is still in there. And I actually want to take this this background kind of out of the design. So, Brooke, you have more experience working with this feature. This is kind of one of the premium features that comes with Canva Pro. So why don't you take it away with showing me how to remove the background on a JPEG image.
Okay, so yeah, you're going to want to go into Effects, and then right here you'll see the background remover. Unfortunately, yeah, it is part of that paid feature, but you get a 30-month free trial.
30-day free trial.
30-day free trial.
Cool.
So you just click background remover, and then should remove all of that white that comes baked in.
Cool. And then, so what are some examples where you might use this for? I'm thinking.
Well, I use it a lot for like our product images. If they come on the white background and I'm just showing off a tumbler, I want to remove that and just kind of put the tumbler on my own background.
For sure, and for anything like dye sub, if you're doing your own dye sub designs and it's on a gray background, but that's gonna print, and I want it to just be white, because with dye sublimation, if it prints white, it's just gonna be transparent. It's like there's nothing there on a dye sub transfer. So let's see. So it looks like it did a pretty good job, but it did remove all of some little white parts on the inside of some of the designs. So what can you do to fix that?
Sometimes that does happen, so then you're going to want to go into over here and click restore, and then it'll bring you up into a more zoomed in version, and I'll just click and drag kind of around where that white disappeared and we want it back in. So that happened in a few spots. It was over here.
That's good. And
Is it over here on the knob?
Yep, down there in that little knob there.
There we go.
I think right just up in that corner.
Okay,
So that
I'm going to make my brush size a little smaller maybe.
okay, that's cool. You can make your brush size smaller for even the little
All the
minute
little
details, and you can
nooks
zoom
and
in too even
crannies.
more. So yeah, you can see how just you have this one we downloaded is a really high quality JPEG, which is really nice. So that's gonna look really clean, especially once we have these edges cleaned up.
Yeah. Oh, my brush is huge now. Let's make that a little smaller.
There we go. Perfect.
There, that should be pretty good.
Perfect.
Then, oh wow, I zoomed out very far. Then you press done, and boom.
Nice. That looks
Okay, so
awesome.
that's pretty good.
Awesome. So, okay, there's our design set up. That's kind of the start of it. Let's take a look now. Let's find some text. So there's a bunch of things in Canva, just within Canva, that you can use for a lot of things that are really good, high quality vector designs. So here I'll pull up lines and shapes. These are great. So I can just...
Yeah, there's so many different options that you can do within this Elements tab. Oh, just click on the shape, try not to put in the... Oh my gosh, there it is.
There we go.
Sweet.
Okay, so I just clicked on this and pulled up circle, and that's a nice scalable vector graphic. So it's totally scalable. I'm not losing any quality here at all, which is great especially for Supacolor designs, stuff like that. But you can size and shape stuff however you need. I use these squares a lot. You can tweak them to whatever shape you really kind of need. It's not quite as flexible as you could get with a more intense design software like Adobe Illustrator. But if you're just getting started, this is a great place to start. So you can arrange stuff like this. So I'll move this around, and then I say I want a background. Just kind of a black box maybe. Maybe that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to change the box around our little record player to something that's black instead of one that's gray. So that's one thing you can do. I will just delete this thing here. So super nice things here. We'll kind of scroll down, show other stuff. There's some graphics that are kind of cool, and these all look like they're vectors. A lot of these are vectors, which look really nice. As well as, let's add another page, frames. So these are places that you can add in photos to. So let's go to uploads. We have some like hiking pictures that people did. So I can just bring those in and then drag those into those frames. If I wanted to arrange them however I want to, that's just double click and move those around. Boom.
Yeah,
So
that's a super cool feature.
Yeah, frames super handy like that. You can scale them, moving around however you need to. Cool. Let's just quick run through any other things here. There are some shapes, lines and shapes. I'll just click lines and shapes.
There's so many options, and a lot of these are free, so...
Oh yeah, a lot of these are, plenty of them are free. Let's get to, where's their cool graphics that they have? Oh, these are all...
In the... Oh, like those sticker-looking ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Graphics?
Yeah, see all.
Let's see all of the graphics. Okay, here we go. Gradients. I kind of like these. So when I look at these, I think a lot of these would be super awesome to do with Supacolor. Some things to keep in mind. I'll just kind of pull in a couple different one of these to show the difference between ones that would be good for Supacolor and ones that would not be good for Supacolor. So here is a couple different really cool graphics that you get. A lot of these are free as well on Canva. Now with Supacolor, you're gonna need clean, crisp lines. You're gonna need no transparencies or shadows or glows. So if there's any kind of transparency here, so I'll go and I can change the transparency. If I were to do that, it wouldn't work for Supacolor because you need that solid lines for them to print. Another thing to keep in mind, so this one, depending on the size of what you're working with, these might work, or some of these little details might be too small. You can get really small with Supacolor down to 1 millimeter, but below that, there is a limit to it. So I would maybe shy away from using something quite this distressed, although you certainly can get away with quite a lot. Something like this, super crisp edges on here, and it's a vector graphic, which means this can scale up as much as you need without losing any quality. Yeah, this one also looks pretty good. Looks like mostly just clean, crisp edges around the edge. And any gradients and stuff like that, totally fine with Supacolor. Same with dye sublimation as well. You're totally fine with any of those. Same with, I will say, dye sublimation and Advantage. Any transparencies or glows, you can definitely do those with dye sublimation. So a bunch of super cool text options. So here's one with a glow. So you can see that. That wouldn't work with Supacolor if it was just kind of on its own, but with dye sublimation, you'd have no problems with that. So let's pick out a text. Let's go back to our design that we kind of first picked out here. I'm going to delete this. Go back to just our kind of DJ set. Center it there. All right, I want to pick out a super fun font to go kind of with this retro look that we could submit for Supacolor. Brooke, what do you see?
Well, that one's pretty good. It's really nice that you can search in a certain type of feeling that you like. Like we have searched retro, classic. There's old fashioned, unique, basically
retro.
any feeling. Yeah, retro. Boom. Look at all those options.
Ooh,
There's so many cool things.
This one has a glow, so I'm not going to use that one.
Don't use that.
This one is some of these are prism split, which is okay because it is just a solid, think a solid text, but split into 3 colors and just kind of shifted. So it's still a solid line for each of these. Which text do you think would be cooler?
Kind of like the one on the right, game over.
All right, awesome. And then these are also editable. I think you can even change what the center color is.
That's so cool.
I like the red. Even, black, and you see it's got kind of shades on each side. I'll just kind of flip through these, see which I like better. I like the red.
Red looks good.
Cool. So I'll just fill in some text here. Move that text box around. Text is super easy to work with in Canva. And the great thing is that Canva is totally free to use. There is the pro version, which we'll get to. But if you just want to play around and learn how it works, totally free to use. And it's really, really user-friendly. I've found it just a lot easier. If you're new to graphic design, getting into it with Canva, way easier than trying to dive right in with Illustrator stuff.
I think it's way more user-friendly, especially for that
There's some
beginner.
limitations, which we'll get into, but I think it's super, super fun to play around with.
Yeah, it makes me feel super artistic, even if I'm not.
All right.
Ooh, that looks good.
So I gotta fit in my box, remember, or else I'm gonna have to kind of change my kind of layout if I really wanna change stuff up too much. Okay, well I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks pretty cool.
Looks good.
And of course, tons more you could do. Want to throw photos in there? Want to throw X, Y, Z on there? But I think just for a Supacolor transfer, this is gonna work out pretty good.
Yes.
So now I go to download. And this is where the kind of pro version is going to separate from the free version. So with free version, you can download PNGs at a high quality, but it will come with a white background, which if you're doing dye sublimation,
That's fine.
no problem at all. So the free version, you can be making awesome dye sublimation designs without having to get the pro version. However, with Supacolor, you do need to submit a PNG. There are a couple different ways, but you need to, one of them is let me say it over. So when you're submitting Supacolor, you do need to submit, one of the ways is a PNG with a transparent background. So that is something you can't do with the free version. You need to get the pro version, or just a 30-day free trial. You can try it out that way. So we'll do that here. We'll do PNG, then we'll click transparent background. We don't want to compress it to a lower quality. We want to keep that same resolution that we started with. And then I'll just pick the one that I want to download. And boom, there we go. We'll download that.
Awesome.
Yep, so that's going to download at that resolution of the 2400 by 3300, which is going to get us that 300 dots per inch when I do a 8 by 11 transfer. So I'll pull it up here.
Good.
Looks super nice. Let's see if I can zoom in. I can really zoom in. So I can definitely see just how far you have to go in before you see any sort of pixels.
Yeah. It is pretty
It's
clear until...
It's really pretty crisp.
Yeah.
And that is the thing. You can download with an SVG. So I'll show that here. You can download as an SVG with the pro version, which is getting to, if you're starting with an SVG, then downloading to an SVG is definitely going to be the best way to get the highest quality. With this design right here, we did have a JPEG image. We were starting with a JPEG, so you're starting with pixels.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to go from pixels to
Vector.
a vector. So we'll do SVG transparent background, and I'll download that just so we can see what that looks like. But yeah, if you're starting with an all vector design in Canva and then you download an SVG, that's going to be the highest quality way to do it, because you can size that to really whatever without losing any quality. So we'll pull that up here. Ooh, and that is really crisp.
That is nice.
So yeah, my vinyl record still has some pixels, but you can see just a little bit of pixels there. But my text is super crisp, even crisper than the PNG.
Mm-hmm.
If I can pull that up as well. So the text here, look how crisp the text is, because that's starting with a vector. All the text and stuff is vector. So when you download it as a vector, it stays super crisp, even compared to your PNG, which still looks great.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little bit of pixelated. Little bit of pixelated. Not a super big problem, because that is going to be tiny text, but you see the difference between a vector with Canva, which is great that you can get those really high quality designs and downloads with Canva's Pro version. So if you're going to submit something with Supacolor, PNG on a transparent background, or an SVG on a transparent background, they're both going to be really good options.
Yeah.
All right, so I got Sawgrass Creative Studio pulled up, and I will just go on here to upload image. All right, here is our SVG and our PNG. I'll just select them both, and we'll upload those.
Nice.
Boom, so they're both getting pulled into our Sawgrass Creative Studio. And yeah, both of those are going to be the transparent background, which is great. Honestly, I could have downloaded those with a white background, and they'd still be great for dye sublimation. Yeah. Pull those in, boom.
That is nice.
They look great. You can size those around how you want, and print those on our dye sublimation printer. Last thing I'll say is if you're doing HTV designs, you're going to want to do those. If you're doing HTV designs, you're definitely going to need to use vector images and then download those as an SVG. So I think starting with any of these kind of shapes, stuff like that, if you're, let's say you have a design or something that you brought in from somewhere else, but you want to add some text onto it, download your image as an SVG, pull it into Canva, add your text onto it, and then download it again as an SVG. That's going to help you, that's going to allow you to cut it with HTV. And if you're layering, quick show you, you can just add pages. You can even, I'll go here. So let's say I have a couple of things going on that I want to go into one design, but I'm going to use different layers of HTV. So I got a couple different things going on. I can just duplicate that page, delete maybe, so I just have one thing on a page. I'll go up, and I'll just kind of separate them out into different pages you can kind of see. So there, when I download those three, there'll be three separate images that I can then arrange and put into my cutter one by one, and they'll cut the vector images.
Nice.
So yeah, so if you're going to cut HTV, you're going to need to download as an SVG, and you're definitely going to need to start with an SVG,
Yeah.
so that you can then end with an SVG.
No, I mean, there's really a lot of cool things that you can do with Canva, and I think it's a great resource if you're just starting out, or even like if you're already in the game but not as comfortable in Illustrator.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool different things you can do with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment below with that. If you use Canva to make designs, let us know. We'd love to hear if you guys are familiar with this or you have any tips of your own. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos. We try and put out at least 1 or 2 videos a week, so check that out there. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.